Still searching for a way out, hoping one day this gon' pay out.
What's good, everybody? What's good? It's your boy, Counterpunch Bud Crawford, or E.S. Red, if that's what you want to call me. And we're back for another one. It's sweltering outside. New topic, y'all. New topic. Let's get this done real fast. New topic. Knockout Kings. Why Terence Bud Crawford will go down to Errol Spence Jr. on fight night. Alright, y'all. So we're getting closer and closer and closer as the days tick by. There's only so much time left in this negotiating process before PBC, Showtime Sports, Fox Sports, and Errol Spence Jr. will have enough of Terence Crawford's stalling out game when it comes to the undisputed welterweight super fight. Now, I keep telling y'all, if you go back and watch my last vlog from yesterday, it'll be in the cards somewhere. I feel like it's going to be some drama in this fight. It's going to be someone may get hurt in this fight. And I'm rolling with Spence, so of course I'm speaking personally about Terence Crawford. I think not only is Terence Crawford going to go down, metaphorically speaking, like I feel like he's going to lose the fight, but I think he's actually going to go down by the Knockout King on fight night, Errol Spence Jr. I think Errol Spence Jr. was just warming up with the Ugas fight. I think he showed a new gear when it comes to his power, when it comes to his striking in the sport of boxing, when it comes to his placement of punches, when it comes to his decision making on where to place punches. He's becoming a better all-around fighter as his fights go on. And I know people think because he sometimes can be a telegraphical fighter. I think he does that on purpose. I think that's a bait and switch for him, almost like a rope-a-dope for him. He'll try to get you, like I said before, in a set position. He's trying to get to a set position in the ring and unload those power shots. He knows he has the power to hurt people. He knows he has the power to break people down. He knows that he is a very physical welterweight. He's one of the bigger welterweights out there besides Keith one time, who's now bum time Thurman. And I know a lot of people believe that Terence Crawford is everything that Errol Spence is not. That he's quick, that he's a switch hitter, that he has more boxing IQ. But I think it's going to come down to who can take a punch in this fight. Who can actually take a punch? Now, there's always been a question mark about Terence Crawford's ability, his chin, and his ability to take heavy punches from heavy punchers that he doesn't see coming. And I know people are going to say, well, he faced up with Shawn Porter, and Shawn Porter wasn't able to, Shawn Porter's a wild, heavy puncher. They used to be true about Porter. Porter used to be all those things. But after a 2-year layoff, you can't expect somebody to jump out back into the ring and be what they were when they were holding the title belt. The same thing boded for Manny Pacquiao. Unfortunately, as big as a Pacquiao fan as I am, the fact that he was off so long, I feel like hurt him when he faced up with Ugas. I don't think it was a matter of him getting old or just a matter of the massage that he got. I think it was the 2-year layoff didn't prepare him physically and mentally for a fully focused Ugas, who some people believe was already training for Pacquiao. But this is not a Pacquiao video, so. But I feel like sometimes you can be the greatest fighter in the world and you can underestimate a fight and get caught off guard. I feel like Deontay Wilder has superior boxing skills to Tyson Fury, but Deontay Wilder, when he gets pressure put on him, starts throwing haymakers like a 12-year-old girl and gets flattened. And, you know, that could possibly be what happens to Terence Crawford. You know, we don't know what's going to happen when Spence does connect with one of those big shots, one of those bombing shots Crawford doesn't see coming, and perhaps he catches him while he's trying to switch. And, you know, we all know that Crawford's known for his switching, but that could be a problem for a fighter if they get caught in the process of switching. If their feet and their hand and their eye coordination is not synchronized perfectly when they're switching, especially if they're engaged while they're switching, or they're backing out of an engagement situation while they're trying to switch, that can turn into a complete disaster, and you can get knocked out in the process of trying to switch from one stance to another stance. And we know Spence can throw punches to break your eye sockets. So, you know, what's going to happen when Terence Crawford actually gets hit with one of those punches? No matter the scenario, is Crawford going to resort to perhaps backpedaling? Is he going to try to engage more, which I think is not the right thing to do, because he's not known for power punching. So him trying to get into an all-out brawl with Errol Spence, I think, would end in disaster. Now, I know the Crawford fans are going to say, well, Terence Crawford's not that stupid. He would never get into a battle that he can't win. He's the smarter fighter. He's the quicker fighter. Errol Spence is going to have to chase him around the ring. I agree with a lot of that. Errol Spence, there's going to be scenarios where Errol Spence has to chase him around the ring. But does Terence Crawford have enough actual punching power to make Errol Spence stop coming forward? That's what we need to. That's what everybody's going to want to find out. Are his punches strong enough to make Spence stop coming forward? They've been strong enough to make an injured Brook stop. They've been strong enough to make a washed up Amir Khan stop. They've been good enough to stop Jeff Horn. They've been good enough to stop Shawn Porter, who was laid off for 2 years. But we're talking about the unified welterweight champion of the world, who has faced up with the best competition besides Manny Pacquiao that the welterweight division has had to offer, and did it while the majority of them were champions. So there's no question mark of where Errol Spence stands. The real question mark is, where does Terence Crawford stand at this point in his career? Is his punching power up to par enough to, when he does catch Errol Spence with those flurries and coming out of that switching stance, and catches Errol Spence when he's following him around the ring, are those punches enough to make Errol Spence stop following him, to stun Spence, to get Spence into a compromising position so he can take advantage of it? Or are those punches just enough to where Errol Spence can walk through them and get him in those positions where he wants to land those big shots and ultimately try to stop Terence Crawford? Because I think the latter of those two is going to happen. I think Terence Crawford's going to come out strong, trying to get Spence into a firefight, to where, and what I mean by firefight is get him in a situation where he kind of punches himself out early. I think Terence Crawford feels like he has the superior hand speed and foot speed. I would give him the foot speed. I think the hand speed is about equal. And I think Terence Crawford will try to get him in a situation where they get into a firefight. But I think Errol Spence is packing the bigger guns. And that firefight that I think Terence Crawford is going to try to, because I think for the first 1 or 2 rounds, he's going to use that foot speed and that movement around the ring to try to get him to gas himself. And from the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, he's going to try to put him into a firefight situation. But I think Errol Spence, his movement is the reason why he moves the way he does. His slow movement puts him in a position to never gas out, and he's always in range to strike. That movement is specific for him. Now, he's one of those fighters where slow movement benefits him because he's trying to go at his pace and not follow you the way you want him to follow you, which is, you know, make movements that you're not normally not making as a boxer. And I think that slow movement, although a detriment for most fighters, is going to be actually a compliment for Spence because it will keep him from following Terence Crawford around the ring, and it might have the inverse effect that Terence Crawford thinks is going to have by having him gas out. It might actually make Terence Crawford gas out earlier because he is going to try to use that ring, and he is going to be exerting a lot more energy than I think Spence is going to be exerting. And that's why I think Terence Crawford is going to go down. Now, everybody's saying Crawford's going to knock him out in the 6th round. I think the 9th, 10th round, you might see Crawford get tired, or Spence land a big body blow, and Crawford's going to go down. Whether it's to one knee or if he gives up the fight, Crawford's going to go down. And that's my opinion. I think it's coming. I think it's inevitable. I think Spence, although, like I said before, ducked the fighter I wanted to see him fight the most. But they're great, you know, that guy's out of the picture. The new fights emerging. This Terence Crawford fight is going to be humongous. When Errol Spence does win, he can start dissecting the Boots and the Virgils, or making a decision about moving to 154. So let me know what y'all think about that in the comment section. I don't want to ramble on too long. Do y'all think the knockout king, Errol Spence Jr., the truth, is going to make Terence Crawford go down on fight night? Hit that like button for me. Share. Subscribe. Tell a friend. Hit me up on all the social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTubes. You are more than likely to get a response on the tubes than any other ones. So definitely hit me up on YouTube if you want to get your comment responded to. It's your boy, Cardinal Bud Crawford, or E.S. Red, if that's what you want to call me, and we are...
Can't leave me, I'm your bitch in the chair.